It finally focused. YouTube, bro. Check it out, man. Got something new, bro. We got something different. NBA scandals that's too dark for Netflix to get into. Um, kind of hip to these NBA scandals. Let's see what's on here that I'm already hip to. Beasley betting. Know about it. I don't know about this one. Don't know about this one. Don't know about this one. My boy Miles case, of course, because I'm a Hornets fan. Of course, I know about Miles. I know about Miller case because I'm a Hornets fan. Of course, I know all about my guys. Don't know about Jeff Taylor. Uh, I forgot what Malik Monk did. Cuban tanking. I heard about this, but I'm not sure. I seen this one. Twitter was going crazy over Miles Leonard slur. It was, I don't think it was nothing race. It was like I think it was like something towards the LGBT jump. Um I know about this one. This one Donald Sterling, the Clippers owner, was acting a fool, being racist. And I think that's it. What's this?
Chris Anderson's catfish. Back in
Yeah, Chris
2012,
Anderson
the
shit
Douglas
first.
County Internet Crimes Unit barged into Chris Anderson's house and grabbed his electronics like it was some kind of heist movie. Turns out they thought he was tied up in child exploitation. Spoiler alert, he wasn't. He was
Oh,
actually being catfished by a woman named Shelley Chartier, living
wow.
in the frozen wilderness of Manitoba with no internet until she was 20. Yep,
Damn.
that's who did it. Shelley created fake profiles and pretended to be everyone. Anderson, a made-up guy named Tom Taylor, even someone's mom. She tricked a
Really?
17-year-old named Paris Dunn into flying to Denver to meet Anderson, who thought the whole thing was set
Oh,
up
no,
by
no,
Tom.
matter of fact,
Paris showed up, hung
I do remember this. Because Chris Anderson put out a statement apologizing.
out with him, realized stuff was weird, and went home. Then came the threats. Shelley, still pretending to be other people, tried to extort Anderson for about $3,000 and bombarded
Damn.
Paris with threats involving nude photos. The police finally traced the whole mess back to Canada. Anderson was cleared, no charges. He even went on to win a title with Miami. Meanwhile,
Birdman.
Chartier got
Birdman.
arrested, pleaded guilty, and spent 18 months in prison.
18?
She's now banned from using the internet unsupervised. The teams cracked the whole thing wide open,
Shawty can't even go on YouTube without being supervised. That's crazy.
proving that sometimes real life is way weirder than any drama on court. Malik Beasley, gambling
This
investigation.
nigga, bro. Let me tell you, the money that this nigga Malik Beasley cost me last season, bro. He owed me some money, bro. Malik Beasley owed me some money, bro. That he was pulling, no, bro. I remember he was going crazy with the threes, bro. Like, yeah, take Malik Beasley over the threes. Take his over the threes. His over threes going crazy. It about to cash. There was one point that I'm pretty sure, like, in South Carolina, you only can bet prize picks and underdog and player props, bro. I'm pretty sure FanDuel, DraftKings, all the sports book shit, they had his shit like at negative 250 on like certain threes. And this nigga would freaking miss threes or not even shoot open shots at certain points. It was ridiculous, bro.
Federal prosecutors started digging into Malik Beasley's betting activity after a major sportsbook flagged a suspicious spike in wagers tied to his game stats. Not final scores, just stuff like points and three-pointers.
Exactly.
This all started around January of 2024, when he was playing for Milwaukee, and the red flags flew through the rest of that season. What made it worse? Beasley's financial mess. The man reportedly owed over $8 million, including debt from a dentist of all people. His marketing agency also sued him.
Nigga, how can you owe the dentist money? What the hell are you, bro? I'm pretty sure the NBA got insurance. How you in debt with the dentist?
Demanding over $2 million for unpaid advances. So yeah, definitely motivation, but still no proof of wrongdoing. By late June 2025, the feds got involved. No formal charges yet, just a giant spotlight and a lawyer screaming, presumed innocent, at the media. The NBA confirmed they're working with investigators, but they're keeping it vague. The Pistons were ready to hand him a 3-year, $42 million deal. But
Damn,
once the
that's
news
like,
broke, they hit pause, faster than a coach calling timeout during a meltdown.
14 million a
Beasley's
year.
career is now dangling in limbo, and depending on how this goes, he could lose everything.
Yeah, he
Jonte
is.
Porter's lifetime ban last year set the bar. Now Beasley's name is floating in the same.
I'm mad I didn't get on Jonte Porter before he got banned, bro. Like, if I knew that if I knew he was throwing games, bro, I would have put my whole life savings on that man, bro. Like, I wish I would have got in.
Waters. And while the case hasn't exploded, it's simmering. Betting scandals aren't new, but this one's messy and it's still unfolding. Every update could swing his future one way or the other. Billy Knight's suicide case. Billy Knight, a former UCLA guard who went undrafted in the 2002 NBA draft, was arrested
way before my time, 2002.
In June 2018 on 6 felony charges.
Damn,
2
6
counts each of sexual abuse, sexual conduct with a minor, and molestation, all tied to alleged incidents involving his ex-girlfriend's 9-year-old daughter. Court documents said the acts happened to him while the child was asleep or during movies on the couch between April 2017 and March 2018. Knight posted bail at $100,000 and was released by the end of June. But just days later, prosecutors pushed to revoke his release. On July 8th, he uploaded a 6-minute YouTube video titled "I Am Sorry, Lord," where he confessed to a life of sin and admitted he was mentally spiraling. He said he heard voices, felt alone, and begged others to get help if they were struggling, especially former athletes or people in career transition. Just hours later, his body was found downtown in Phoenix.
Damn.
No foul play. The medical examiner ruled it a suicide by blunt force trauma from jumping off a building. Knight played overseas after college, suited up for the Harlem Globetrotters, and even made a stop in the G League with Northern Arizona. But his case ended without a trial. The charges were never adjudicated. His death came right after another UCLA alum, Tyler Honeycutt, also died by suicide. It sparked more serious discussions about mental health in post-athletic life and what's still not being addressed. Derek, character IHOP, arrest. On April 24th, 2011, rookie forward Derek Character found himself in a mess after stumbling into an IHOP in New Orleans. The Lakers were in town for a playoff series, but
this IHOP look different. I'm gonna know these blue IHOPs.
Character apparently had other priorities, like arguing with a cashier over pancakes, while clearly drunk out of his mind. Witnesses said he was belligerent after being denied service and allegedly shoved a female cashier. Early reports claimed she was pregnant, but police later clarified she wasn't. Thankfully, she wasn't hurt either. Still, not the kind of night you want during the postseason. Character was arrested just after 1 a.m. and charged with battery, public intoxication, and resisting arrest. He got booked at Orleans Parish Jail and released later that same day after posting about $1,000 in bond. Not exactly the pre-game routine any coach would suggest. The Lakers weren't thrilled. Team officials said they were investigating, and unsurprisingly, Character wasn't made available to the media. The arrest came as the team was already managing injury concerns, and Character's incident just added more distraction. He was already viewed as a fringe player, picked 58th overall.
Damn!
And this did.
Nigga was picked, what? 4 spots before the end of the draft. Damn near. Shit. I see why they say a fringe. I'll be back. Are we back?
Didn't help his case. For someone trying to earn minutes in the postseason, getting hauled off from a pancake joint probably wasn't the move. His standing on the team never really recovered after that night. Ron Artest, halftime drinking admission. In 2009, Ron Artest casually dropped one of the wildest confessions in NBA history. He used to drink Hennessy during halftime, not after the game, not at the club, right there in the locker room during the break. He told Sporting News he'd even walk to a nearby liquor store before tip-off like it was just part of the routine. This happened early in his career with the Chicago Bulls, from 1999 to 2002. He was around 20 years old, partying every night, and basically operating like a human warning label. He said he was immature, reckless, and used alcohol and weed to handle the pressure that came with fame. When the interview went viral, Artest later told ESPN that he wasn't bragging about it. He wanted it to be a lesson, not a celebration.
But yeah, I heard this from Ron before. Like he said he had this problem when he was with Indy and when Malice in the Palace happened, bro. Like,
according to him, the whole Hennessy thing only lasted a few weeks, maybe a month. But still, the image of a young NBA player sipping cognac in the locker room mid-game, that stuck. Yeah, no fines, ridiculous. No suspensions. The Lakers and the league saw it as old news from a past life. Teammates like Brad Miller joked about it, because honestly, no one ever knew if Artest was serious or just being, well, Artest. Either way, it pulled back the curtain on how chaotic things really were for him early on. Shaq's locker room poop pranks. So apparently, Shaq's idea of team bonding.
I heard of this, but I never got a deep dive into this. What was Shaq doing?
Involved feces, buckets, and traumatized rookies. According to Gary Payton, Shaq once collected his own waste for a week and dumped it on rookies while they were in the bathroom. He said it happened with the Lakers and the Heat. Yeah, imagine surviving training camp only to get dumped on, literally.
This nigga Shaq dumped his poop on me while I'm in the shower, bro. I don't know what I'm doing. Shaq's 7 foot, bro. I don't know what I'm doing. Man, gonna be freaking Rey Mysterio versus the Great Khali. I'm gonna have to be kicking him in his knees or something.
Then there's Ty Lue's story. He claimed Shaq defecated in Devine George's shoe before a game.
Nigga,
George
what?
allegedly stepped right in.
Nigga put poop in his shoe? Nah, bruh.
Into it. Except, plot twist, Devine denied it ever happened to him and said Shaq may have pulled that off in Orlando, not LA. So basically, we've entered NBA folklore territory, where no one's really sure who got pranked or who's just protecting their dignity. Shaq responded in January 2025, denying the poop bucket and the shoe incident. He said it didn't happen, full stop. So that's his side. Okay. But then comes the Phoenix Suns years. Matt Barnes and Jason Richardson told a disgusting tale about Shaq putting a mouthpiece in his rectum, placing it in Lou Amundsen's locker, and then watching Lou unknowingly pop it into his mouth during a game.
What?
That one's never been publicly denied by Lou. So, you do the math. Not every story checks out, but the mouth guard stunt's backed up enough to haunt your dreams. Either way, this isn't leadership. It's gastrointestinal terrorism wrapped in a locker room towel.
No, this is
Ty
disgusting,
Lawson,
bro.
CBA, lifetime.
I just ate too. Nah, my stomach turning.
Ban. On September 19th, 2020, Ty Lawson was cut from the Fujian Sturgeons and banned for life from the Chinese Basketball Association.
Bro, you know how, you know you gotta do something crazy to get banned from an overseas league, bro. What the hell Ty Lue did? Ty Lue.
Why? Because he posted some wildly inappropriate content on Instagram. One story showed him at a Chinese strip club. Another featured a caption about Chinese women.
Chinese woman got cake on the low. Might switch up my stance soon.
Having cakes on the low, which didn't exactly scream cultural awareness. The comment was blasted as objectifying and offensive, with league officials and fans calling it disrespectful toward Chinese women. It didn't help that it was paired with sexually suggestive videos and photos. Fujian's front office wasted no time, citing the post as completely out of line with their values and accusing Lawson of damaging the league's image. The CBA didn't hesitate either. They handed down a full lifetime ban. Just like that, Lawson's overseas career in China was over, and this came before the 2021 season even started, meaning he got cut before setting foot back on the court. Lawson responded a few days later, saying he meant no harm and that people misinterpreted what he wrote. He said he wasn't racist and was shocked by the reaction. His explanation, he thought cakes was just a compliment about body shape, whether clueless or careless.
Bro. You in a different fucking country, bro. You know you can't say that shit, bro. You know you can't.
The damage was done, the ban stood, and Lawson's chapter in the CBA closed permanently, highlighting just how unforgiving things can get when social media, cultural boundaries, and bad judgment collide. Doug Christie marriage control allegations. During the early 2000s, Doug Christie's NBA career became almost inseparable from his wife Jackie, and not in a sweet couple goals way. Jackie was reportedly everywhere. She stood behind him during interviews, left him notes in his locker, and monitored his texts like she was guarding national secrets. He'd flash her a pinky, "I love you" sign 50 to 60 times a game. That's not an exaggeration. Media outlets reported it as ritual every single game. Jackie also joined him on team flights, games, road trips.
Hold on, what is she doing on team flights, bro? Like, I'm pretty sure they don't let family fly with you, bro. It's just the team. What the hell was she doing on team flights? Like, if I'm one of the dudes that's hooping with you, and you bring your wife on a flight, I'm like, bro, come on, man. Like, she ain't gotta fly with us every time, bro. Come on.
You name it. Sometimes she even rode in a separate vehicle just to keep close. One of the weirder claims, she controlled who he could talk to, especially female
control who he could talk to.
Reporters, teammates, said she'd block conversations and hover during interviews. Pam Oliver supposedly felt awkward trying to talk to Doug while Jackie loomed silently behind him. And yes, they renewed their vows every year. Full ceremony.
Renew their vows every year, bro. Doug, bro, you the S, Doug the S word, bro.
Reception, cake, the whole shebang. This wasn't just a marriage; it was an annual reboot. While fans and media mocked the dynamic, calling it controlling or obsessive, Doug and Jackie insisted it was strategic. He said it kept him grounded and focused. Jackie booked his appearances, managed distractions, and made sure he stayed out of trouble. Still, when an NBA team reportedly passed on signing Doug because they didn't want Jackie on the road, it was clear their setup wasn't exactly standard issue locker room behavior. Miles Bridges' domestic violence case. Back on June 29, 2022, Miles Bridges.
I love Miles like my blood brother, bro, but what he did to his baby moms, bro, I don't respect it, bro. Hopefully, most likely they got his shit situated. I don't think he'll go through that shit again, bro. He fucked up his contract because he was hooping. This was his contract year when he did this shit. He fucked up his contract, sat out a year, didn't get paid. He learned from it. Like I said, hopefully they got the shit situation. I don't respect what he did, but hopefully they got shit situated.
Was arrested in Los Angeles for allegedly assaulting his ex-girlfriend in front of their 2 kids. He posted a $130,000 bond, and a few weeks later was charged with felony injuring a parent and 2 counts of felony child abuse. He pleaded not guilty right away. By November 3rd, he took a no contest plea to the injuring a parent charge. The child abuse charges were dropped. The court handed him 3 years of probation, 100 hours of community service, domestic violence counseling, parenting classes, weekly drug testing, and a 10-year protective order. No jail, but a long list of restrictions. Then came the NBA suspension. In April 2023, he was suspended for 30 games, with 20 credited as already served from the previous season. That left 10 more games to sit out. At the beginning of 2024, the Hornets still re-signed him on a 1-year deal worth $7.9 million. But in October, things flared up again. Bridges allegedly threw pool balls at his ex's car with the kids inside.
Come on, man. I didn't hear about this part. Else, what the fuck, bruh? I thought you learned from this shit, bruh. Come on, man.
Back in January, he turned himself in and was released on a $1,000 bond. By February 13th, all 3 new charges were dismissed. Prosecutors said the evidence was too weak to move forward. Bridges stayed on probation, followed court orders, and remained with Charlotte once his suspension ended. His case was messy, but legally, that chapter closed. Cameron Payne, Terry Johnson arrest. On June 14th, 2024, Cameron Payne called 911 around 2:30 in the morning from his home in Scottsdale. He said he needed help after a verbal fight with his girlfriend, but when the dispatcher asked for his name, he insisted it was Terry Johnson. Not once, over and over. When officers arrived, Payne and his girlfriend said everything was fine, but under domestic protocols, cops needed his real name. Instead of cooperating, Payne doubled down. He gave a fake birth date, January 1st, 1998, and stuck to the alias. Eventually, he blurted out Cameron Payne, but then backpedaled, saying that was fake too. One cop said, "Congratulations," before cuffing him, calling it the dumbest way to get arrested. It really was. They said they could have been gone in 5 minutes. Exactly. Payne was booked on 2 misdemeanors, giving a false name and filing a false report. In December, he pleaded guilty to the false report charge. The other count was dropped. Court records say he likely paid fines or entered a diversion. The Knicks signed him that July anyway, handing him a 1-year, $3 million deal. His new nickname? Terry. Teammates ran with it. Josh Hart even tweeted, "Shout out Terry." Body cam footage went viral. Cops literally laughed at the situation mid-arrest. A brief, stupid decision earned Payne a new label, a court date, Terry, and a lifetime of Terry Johnson jokes in the locker room. Brandon Miller, Alabama shooting involvement. On January 15th, 2023.
Bro, I was scared that Brandon Miller wasn't going to get drafted after hearing about this.
Jamea Harris was shot and killed near the Strip in Tuscaloosa. She was with her boyfriend in a vehicle when gunfire struck her. 2 men, Michael Davis and Darius Miles, were later indicted for capital murder. Miles allegedly handed the gun to Davis, who fired into the victim's car. Brandon Miller wasn't charged, but he did drive the car that brought the gun. Police said the weapon was found in the back seat of his vehicle. His attorney claimed Miller never touched the firearm, didn't know its purpose, and gave full access to his phone and car during the investigation. Prosecutors confirmed he was a cooperating witness, not a suspect. At Michael Davis's trial in May 2025, Miller testified he received texts from Miles asking for a joint, a code word believed to mean the gun. Dashcam video played in court showed Miller arriving, Davis retrieving the weapon, and shots being fired. 2 bullets even struck Miller's windshield. He said he got no immunity deal and cooperated fully. In October 2023, Harris's mother filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Miller, Miles, and Davis. It accused all 3 of knowing the danger a gun posed during a dispute. The civil case is still active. Despite controversy, Miller was drafted second overall by Charlotte in June 2023. He served as a witness at trial and continues to face no criminal charges while playing in the NBA under close public scrutiny. Connie Hawkins, point shaving scandal, fallout. In 1961, college basketball got rocked by a gambling scandal that swept up players from 22 schools. Fixer Jack Molinas was at the center of it all, paying players to shave points. But somehow, Connie Hawkins, a freshman at Iowa who wasn't even eligible for varsity games, got caught in the mess. Hawkins had taken a $200 loan from Molinas, money he paid back through his brother before any scandal broke. That was it. No involvement in fixing games. No witnesses ever claimed he helped. Still, he was interrogated without a lawyer, dragged before a grand jury, and never charged. Didn't matter. He got expelled from Iowa and banned by both the NCAA and NBA. The guy was 19, had played a minute of varsity ball, and already exiled from the league. He spent the next few years lighting up the ABL, Harlem Globetrotters, and the ABA. In 1969, he sued the NBA for $6 million. They settled for about $1.3 million and finally lifted the ban. The Phoenix Suns scooped him up.
And $1.3 million back in his day is freaking crazy money.
Didn't waste time. He became an all-star and made first team All-NBA. In 1992, he was inducted into the Hall of Fame. No gambler ever said he was involved, yet his career was nearly stolen. His story is one of the NBA's most frustrating and powerful redemption. Connie Hawkins deserved better, and he earned it anyway. Jeff Taylor, domestic violence suspension. On September 25th, 2014, Jeff Taylor was arrested at a Marriott in East Lansing, Michigan, after getting into a dispute with his
buddy. Name sound familiar, but I wasn't a true Bobcats fan, bro. Of course, I know Gerald Wallace and Steven Jackson when they was on the team, but Jeff Taylor's name sound familiar, but no impact on me.
Girlfriend. He pushed her, slapped her arm, and punched a hotel wall, which led to 3 charges: domestic assault, and property damage. A month later, he pleaded guilty to 2 misdemeanors: domestic assault and destruction of property under $200. The 3rd charge got dropped in exchange for his plea. He was sentenced to 18 months probation, ordered into a 26-week intervention program, hit with 80 hours of community service, and placed under strict alcohol testing. The NBA didn't sit back. Commissioner Adam Silver suspended Taylor for 24 games without pay, docking him almost $200,000 in salary. Silver said the punishment was about sending a message. Taylor's actions violated not just the law, but the league's moral standards.
I think this when Adam Silver came into the league, like when he took over the league. So he wasn't playing no games with folks, bro. He's setting examples.
Agreed. NBPA head Michelle Roberts called the suspension excessive, arguing the collective bargaining agreement didn't allow such penalties for misdemeanors. But Taylor didn't appeal. He took the hit and said he just wanted to move forward. The case was a first under the NBA's sharpened lens on domestic violence, especially in the wake of NFL scandal. Taylor's suspension became one of the league's longest ever for off-court behavior, setting a precedent for how future incidents would be handled. Matt Geiger blocks Iverson trade. In the summer of 2000, the Sixers were ready to push Allen Iverson out the door. Friction with Larry Brown had boiled over. A 4-team trade was set, shipping Iverson and Matt Geiger to Detroit in exchange for veterans like Glenn Rice, Eddie Jones, and Jerry Stackhouse. The plan? Rip the heart out of Philly.
Am I tripping? Wasn't the Pistons stacking 2000? They was gonna send AI to the Pistons for these guys, bro. Wait, this is Jerry Stackhouse, right?
Like Glenn Rice, Eddie Jones, and Jerry Stackhouse.
They was gonna let go of Jerry Stackhouse for AI. They would have had Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton, but that team would have been crazy. I don't blame him for blocking this trade.
The plan? Rip the heart out of Philly and rebuild it clean. But buried deep in Matt Geiger's contract was a trade kicker clause. If traded, he'd pocket an extra $1.2 million per year for the next 4 years. Under league cap rules, that bonus had to be waived to make the deal work. Geiger said no. Coldly, plainly, no. He claimed it was an easy decision.
Geiger, bro, you could have had a ring, bro. I would have said fuck that 1.2 mil and took that ring, bro. I don't care less about that money, bro. Yeah, that what 1.2 mil 4 years, what's that? 4.8 million for 4 years, bro. Man, that ring, that like 2 rings, bro. That Piston team was crazy in the 2000s.
He didn't want to go to Detroit, and he didn't think Iverson belonged there either. Just like that, the deal died. No movement, no press
Bro, that's
release,
crazy.
just silence and broken phones. Iverson stayed, and what followed was a season straight out of mythology.
Yeah, but if AI do go to the Pistons, his 2000 run probably is not as I'm trying to think of the word, not as you know what I'm trying to say. Folks right now won't even be like, damn, AI was cold, bro. Because he would have been, I don't know what option AI would have been on that Pistons team, bro.
Won MVP. The Sixers hit 56 wins. He dragged a battered team to the finals.
Yep.
And it only happened because a journeyman center decided he wanted his money. Geiger's refusal wasn't brave. It wasn't noble. It was contractual. But it saved a franchise's soul and altered two franchises' fates. Somewhere in the wreckage of what could have been, the legend of Allen Iverson was sharpened.
Exactly.
And Matt Geiger became the accidental gatekeeper of Philly's last real era of glory. And if you're like me, the NBA offseason is your time to recharge. But while the game slowed down, you're...
Shout out Factor. If y'all got the money, get Factor. Don't get Factor.
Malik Monk drug suspension.
I don't know what the fuck Malik Monk did. Malik Monk is a hooper, bro. I love this kid, bro. I hope he come back to Charlotte one day.
On February 26, 2020, Malik Monk was suspended indefinitely without pay for violating the NBA's
This was fucking during the COVID time, bro. I was not watching the games like that during COVID. We're bad, bro, but I just couldn't watch. I couldn't watch us playing during COVID. Like, I just couldn't.
Drug program. No press conference. No long statement. Just a cold league memo confirming he wouldn't return until he proved he was in full compliance. At the time, Monk was finally finding his rhythm. 10 points a game, nearly 3 boards, and his best stretch of the season. But then came the announcement. The Hornets said they were disappointed, but they'd support it. A quiet line in a team state, hollow in tone. What wasn't announced was what he took. The NBA doesn't say when it's a drug of abuse, but this suspension came under stage 1, the tier reserved for things like cocaine or heroin. Whatever it wasn't just weed. Monk never addressed it publicly. The league never clarified. He was reinstated on June 8th after completing treatment, testing clean, and meeting the program's condition. Thanks to the COVID pause, he only missed 8 games, from indefinite exile to reinstatement in just over 3 months. The silence around the whole thing still lingers. No big apology tour, no detailed redemption arc, just a promising player yanked off the floor, then slotted back in like nothing happened. It was a reminder that behind the stats and highlight reels, there are quiet violations, darker chapters, stuff the league buries under phrases like stage 1 compliance. Monk moved on, but the silence still echoed. Poor Blount's arrest. Deputies in Liberty Township thought they were just delivering a package, but it turned into a full-on bust. Back in December of 2008, Blount picked up an 11-pound box of marijuana that had been sent through the Postal Service.
11
After that,
pounds, bro?
officers searched the place and found another 11-pound package, plus a separate stash weighing 7 pounds. That's 29 pounds total. That's not just a bad weekend decision. Along with the weed, authorities took $29,500 in cash, 3 vehicles including a 1996 Mercedes and 2 SUVs, and 3 firearms. Blount was charged with felony drug possession, but trafficking charges were dropped later through a plea deal. By April of 2009, he pleaded guilty to 2 felony counts. The following month, the judge handed him a 1-year prison sentence and a $10,000 fine. On top of that, Blount had to give up $34,000 and 2 of the cars. No early release either. He served every single day. And yeah, Blount claimed the weed was all for personal use. That didn't go over well.
Folks
the judge basically mocked
29 pounds of weed for personal use. Personal use. Come on, man.
The idea, saying even Cheech and Chong would have been overwhelmed. After his release, he went through 5 years of probation and did 250 hours of community service. This was a former pro player who had a decade-long career in the league. He played from 1993 to 2004 and was a college standout before that. But the court clearly didn't buy any part of the "it's just for me" routine. Tony Roten, NBA insurance fraud. In October 2021, federal prosecutors unsealed an indictment.
I heard about this one, but I'm not really deep into this one like that.
That named 18 former NBA.
Damn, my boy Shannon Brown was up. Bro, Shannon Brown used to go crazy in one of the 2Ks, bro. Like, he will freaking... Man, you can just run downhill or press square. He gonna do a freaking dunk on anybody. That's pretty much all that I really care about on this list.
NBA players
Glenn
and
Davis.
1 spouse for conspiring to defraud the NBA's health and welfare benefit plan.
Telfair.
Over $4 million in fake claims were submitted, and $2.5 million was actually paid out. Among those indicted, Tony Wroten. From 2017 through 2020, Wroten submitted invoices for treatments that never happened. Prosecutors said he worked with former player Terrence Williams, the scheme's ringleader, who created fake documents from phony providers. In return, players like Wroten kicked back a cut. Over $230,000 in all was funneled back to Williams. Wroten pleaded guilty to conspiracy. He didn't serve prison time, but received a 3-month suspended sentence and a fine. Other defendants weren't so lucky. Will Bynum got 18 months, and Williams was sentenced to 10 years behind bars,
Damn,
plus
10?
millions in restitution. This wasn't small-time fraud. It was an organized operation targeting the league's own health plan. What made it darker was the trust violated. These were former athletes exploiting a safety net built for injured players and long-term care. Wroten faded from the NBA years ago, but this made sure his name didn't disappear quietly. It became another entry on a growing list of post-career scandals, where the headlines are no longer about points or contracts, but crime, deception, and reputations gone hollow. Mark Cuban tanking fine. On February 18th, 2018,
Bro, I don't get along with the Mavericks, bro. After that bull crap that they pulled this year, bro, somehow, someway they can trade Luka and get the freaking first overall pick, bro. I don't fuck with the Mavericks, but hey, I've been seeing Khan hoop during the summer league. That boy hard. I'm happy with Khan.
Mavericks owner Mark Cuban appeared on a podcast with Dr. J and said the quiet part out loud. His exact words: "I'm probably not supposed to say this, but losing is our best option." He was talking about the Dallas Mavericks, a franchise actively swirling the tank drain at 18 wins and 40 losses near the All-Star break. The comment wasn't coded. It was a public confession of strategic failure. One Cuban claimed had been in place for a year and a half. 3 days later, the NBA fined him $600,000. Commissioner Adam Silver.
Bro, $600,000 is like $6 to Mark Cuban, bro. This man is rich.
Called it public statements detrimental to the NBA. It remains
charge him in
one of
$6
the
million.
largest personal fines ever handed down to a team owner. Cuban backpedaled, saying he got caught up fanboying Dr. J and lost his filter. But the damage was done. Dirk Nowitzki, loyal to the idea of dignity on court, told reporters, "We never play to lose." The moment crystallized the truth the league didn't want to acknowledge out loud. Tanking exists, but it must be whispered,
Tanking
never
does
broadcast.
exist.
Cuban crossed that line. The league responded not
We do not tank. The Hornets do not tank, bro. We
to the act, but to the honesty. In the NBA, the problem isn't always the losing. It's admitting that you meant to. Myers Leonard's slur and suspension. On March 8th, 2021, Myers Leonard went live on Twitch to play Call of Duty. Somewhere between
said
bullets and bad banter, he said the word kike, one of the most vicious anti-Semitic slurs in the English language. And he said it casually, like a gamer might say reload or grenade. The internet noticed. Quickly, within hours, the NBA condemned him. On March 11th, the league fined Leonard $50,000, suspended him from all team activities for a week, and mandated diversity training. Commissioner Adam Silver said the words were inexcusable. Leonard apologized, claiming he didn't understand the slur's meaning. His
I don't
apology
know the
read
meaning. I
more
never
like a
said a
man
word
caught
in
off
my
guard
life.
than enlightened. Meanwhile, sponsors weren't waiting. FaZe Clan dropped him. Gaming brands backed out. His NBA team, the Miami Heat, traded him to the Thunder for nothing but contract shrapnel. The Thunder waived him. Just like that, he vanished. For 2 years, Leonard worked on what people now call the long apology. He visited Holocaust survivors, attended ADL seminars, listened instead of speaking. In February 2023, the Milwaukee Bucks gave him a 10-day contract. Not a clean slate, but a thin thread. His story is less about a slur and more about what happens after. The silence, the outreach, the very public question. Can a player come back after showing the world who he really is, even for a second? Joey Crawford's suspension. It all went down in April of 2007. The San Antonio Spurs were facing the Dallas Mavericks, and Tim Duncan was sitting on the bench with one
hilarious.
technical
Timmy
already
was
on his
laughing
name. Then he laughed. That's it. He laughed after a foul call, and referee Joey Crawford saw red. He hit Duncan with a second technical and tossed him, even though the guy wasn't even in the game at the time. What followed was even more unhinged. Crawford reportedly asked Duncan if he wanted to fight, like literally challenged him. Duncan was stunned, said he had no clue what was happening or why it escalated like that. The league was not amused. Duncan got slapped with a $25,000 fine for talking back, but Crawford got the real hammer, The NBA suspended him indefinitely
Damn.
for behavior that crossed way past the line of professionalism. He ended up missing the entire rest of the season and the playoffs, breaking a streak of 21 straight postseason appearances for him. Crawford eventually had to go through anger management therapy, which he said actually made him better. He later admitted that he learned to reset mentally every 24 seconds. This was Duncan's only career ejection, and Crawford's reputation never fully recovered from it. Elgin Baylor's lawsuit. In February of 2009,
Shout out
Baylor
Elgin
filed a
Baylor.
lawsuit against Donald Sterling, the Clippers,
racist.
the NBA, and Andy Roser. He claimed he'd been wrongfully terminated and that the organization operated like a modern-day plantation. Baylor alleged racial and age-based discrimination, saying the team maintained a toxic hierarchy rooted in race and control. It wasn't just vague accusations either. He brought up disturbing remarks Sterling allegedly made over the years, including telling Danny Manning that his offer was generous for a poor black kid.
Wow,
Baylor also
what?
said Sterling wanted a roster full of poor black players coached by a white man. It got even messier. Baylor described locker room visits where Sterling would allegedly bring women to watch players shower and comment on their bodies. All of that, combined with Baylor's claim that he was underpaid and that Mike Dunleavy, the white head coach, made over $22 million, pointed to deep problems. Baylor's own salary had been frozen at $350,000 for years. By March of 2011, Baylor dropped the race part of the case and focused only on age discrimination. A jury ruled against him, siding with Sterling. But years later, when Sterling was banned for life,
Shout out V. She the one that exposed this dude.
after those infamous recordings came out, Baylor's claims didn't sound so far-fetched. His lawsuit may have lost, but the message aged very well. Jamal Tinsley's club incidents.
Hey, if y'all haven't seen Clip was like a 8-episode series of literally what this last one was. It's pretty good, bro. It shows what a weirdo Sterling was.
In October of 2006,
And his
during
wife,
Pacers
his wife a
training
weirdo too. If they tied in right, his wife a weirdo too.
camp, Jamal Tinsley was out with teammates at Club Rio, a strip club in Indianapolis. That night,
yeah,
Steven
strippy.
Jackson fired a handgun
Nigga,
after an
no
altercation in the parking lot. Tinsley wasn't charged, but police found marijuana in his car. That same vehicle allegedly had about 25 guns inside,
25?
according to Al Harrington years later. Tinsley and Marquis Daniels were already under the microscope from an earlier bar fight that year. Then came December of 2007. Tinsley and his group left a nightclub called Cloud 9 in 3 flashy cars. Someone started following them and opened fire with a high-powered rifle. The Pacers equipment manager was shot, but survived.
Damn.
Tinsley wasn't hit. His group followed the attackers to a hotel, where Tinsley's brother returned fire with a 9mm. Again, Tinsley faced no charges. Hotel footage showed him calmly cooperating with police. The Pacers didn't punish him, but made it clear things had to change. Coach Jim O'Brien and Larry Bird both stressed how serious the situation was, even though Tinsley hadn't broken any laws. These incidents added fuel to an already rocky image of the Pacers. No arrests, no suspensions, but plenty of red flags. Tinsley became a symbol of how quickly things could spiral, even without pulling a trigger. Allen Iverson's jewelry garnishment. In 2010, Allen Iverson was sued by Leiden and Company Jewelers
Yeah,
out of
what did y'all
Georgia
do?
for failing to pay a jewelry bill totaling $375,000.
Bro, they said AR said he went broke. I think AR said he went broke twice while he was in the league, which is crazy. Like, how can you go? Well, yeah, I know how you can go broke while getting paid millions, but it's crazy to me that you're going broke while in the league. Like, but some people are not money management type people. Like me, I'm an accountant, so I'm gonna know how to manage my money. That don't matter. But going broke twice, then you end up in this situation, we got an issue.
He didn't respond to the lawsuit at all. That silence led to a default judgment, meaning the court sided with the jeweler by default. No court battle, no defense, just a rubber stamp in the jeweler's favor. But it didn't stop there. By January of 2012, that debt had exploded to nearly $860,000.
Damn.
Interest, legal fees, and court costs all piled on, more than doubling the original amount. And still, Iverson did nothing to fight it. So a Gwinnett County judge gave the green light for Leiden to go directly into Iverson's Wells Fargo bank accounts. The garnishment was official. His account could legally be drained to cover the debt. This wasn't about gambling or anything scandalous beyond unpaid jewelry, but it painted a bigger picture. Iverson made over $150 million during his NBA career, and yet a six-figure jewelry bill went unpaid.
Exactly.
No bankruptcy filing, no statement, just a long, expensive
Ridiculous.
silence. His defender said it was overspending, poor money management, and no legal action to stop the bleeding. The result? Nearly $860,000 gone, without a single courtroom appearance from Iverson. Grayson Allen's dirty plays. Back in college, the mess started early.
This man, Grayson Allen. This kid played dirty as shit, but he a hooper.
In February of 2016, Allen tripped Ray Spalding from Louisville and earned a flagrant foul.
Yeah,
Just
tripped,
weeks
buddy.
later, he stuck his leg out again, this time on Xavier Rathan Mays of Florida State. The game was basically over, but Allen couldn't help himself. The conference slapped him with a reprimand, but no suspension. Then in December, things exploded. While playing Elon, Allen tripped Steven Santana and completely lost it on the bench. Duke suspended him indefinitely and yanked his captain title.
Yeah,
The drama
this man,
still
Grayson
wasn't
Allen
done.
was
In March of
tripping.
2018, during the
Hold on. Y'all
conference
can't see it. Y'all can't see. I just realized that.
tournament, Allen gave still
We down
wasn't
here
done. In March of 2018, during the conference tournament, Allen gave Garrison Brooks a hip check
That's
that got
crazy.
ruled a flagrant one. Then came the pros. In July of 2019, Allen got ejected from a summer league game after back-to-back flagrant fouls against Boston.
What he
People
do
called
here?
them cheap shots. He was tossed, but the real
he
heat
smacked
came in
back in his
January
head.
of 2022. Playing for Milwaukee, Allen hit Alex Caruso mid-air. Caruso
Damn.
fractured his wrist, and the NBA suspended Allen for one game. Bulls coach Billy Donovan
Damn.
called the foul dangerous and career-threatening. No charges, no ban, but the reputation stuck. Some say he's just intense. Others call him dirty. But from tripping kids in college to causing injuries in the NBA, Allen's track record keeps feeding the debate. And yeah, people still remember every single one of those plays. If you enjoyed this, I'm
Hey.
gonna be
That was a good video. Something new, longer one. Surprised I stuck through it, bro. My attention span is super slim, bro. I can't do these long videos, but this one kept me interested because I knew about some of these and some of these something new to me, like interesting. But hey, I'm gonna get you at y'all on the next one, bro.